Microsoft 365 AI Workplace Update, February 2026. Many thanks to Neat, who are the benefactor this month. Really appreciate all their support, everything we're doing in the community. Neat have a new Pad Pro 10. It's a new MDEP device. We'll talk about that more in the ISE update. We are just off the back of ISE. I got back last week. There is so much news, both in the Copilot space and the AI workplace space. Changes to licensing, express voice enrolment, live events retiring, multiple phone numbers on Teams Phone. So let's get straight into the update. Over on Empowering Cloud, we've got new briefings. We have a real AI case study. We have an update with Luware where we talked about AI in the real world, and not just all the kind of theoreticals, but the actual costs, the risks, and some of the benefits, and what real customers are doing. There are some big changes coming to Microsoft Places, both in terms of licensing and in capabilities. I did a session with Brennan, which is looking at the year ahead. We also did a session with Pure IP about their new platform for enterprise communications. That's with Adnan, the new Chief Strategy Officer. And also there's a session on voice AI agents. We've had some great podcasts. Jenny Hicks took us through her perspective on distribution in 2026. Great session with Henry at Logitech on their new Rally AI cameras, and really enjoyed having JT on the pod from Toyota Financial Services talking about his Teams and Teams Dreams rollout. Microsoft 365 and Copilot news. The pressure in the AI space with all the innovation and competition is showing through, and a lot of updates are coming to Microsoft 365 Copilot. Copilot Chat got GPT 5.2. We saw quite a lot of extensibility improvements in the AI agent space. This slide here is just some of the updates in January. There are even more as well. I'm excited for this one personally. MCP-based agents are getting a rich interactive widget in Copilot Chat to connect to third-party services, and this would render the output of those MCP connections. Microsoft 365 Copilot Memory, this is part of that Work IQ story. We're seeing some improvements to that memory capability and how you control that capability coming in March. Increasing value is being pushed into the Copilot Chat free tier. And in Outlook, Copilot Chat is now going to reason over your whole inbox and your whole calendar. Much more usability at the free tier. Really exciting to see that coming along. And that's due to roll out March. This is an interesting one. API access to Copilot retrieval. This is API access to workplace data for non-Copilot licensed users. So if you think about a Copilot Chat user and they want to use an agentic scenario that needs access to the enterprise data, you can use this on a pay-as-you-go currently in preview. This won't give them user access to their own data, so not their own OneDrive or their own email. So it's not exactly the same as Work IQ for an M365 Copilot user, but for certain users that need to access, say, centralized SharePoint data of the workplace, you can go to a pay-as-you-go model for some scenarios. This is off by default and it does require pay-as-you-go setup, but there's the MCID for more details. Two new very exciting, very impactful models, Opus 4.6 and Codex 5.3 from Anthropic and OpenAI respectively, came out in relatively quick succession. It's really competitive on that frontier model space at the moment. Both already integrated to GitHub Copilot, so available to developers using that platform. And I've been playing with Opus 4.6 in particular, and I'm really, really impressed with the results. Talking of Opus, it feels like Anthropic are increasingly putting a lot of pressure on Microsoft 365 Copilot. Anthropic is a partner of Microsoft's. The models are coming into M365 Copilot, but at the same time, Anthropic have launched plugins for Excel and PowerPoint that have been very well received. They launched Claude Cowork at the start of the year. This is Mac only, but this is essentially similar to Claude Code, but for knowledge workers. It'll be interesting to see if Microsoft 365 Copilot has to look at having a more engaging desktop-based application similar to this Cowork scenario, or if all the data can stay on OneDrive and SharePoint and more in the cloud model. It's just amazing to see the innovation between OpenAI and their integrations, Anthropic and their integrations, and what Microsoft's doing with Microsoft 365 Copilot. On to the Microsoft Teams and AI-powered workplace updates. We're just back from ISE. I sat in on Ilya's keynote session there. Some of the themes were around thinking of Teams as a person-to-person and person-to-agent type scenario as well. So it could be human-to-agent, agent-to-human, the place where we collaborate. Work IQ being a huge foundation of that story, and all your meeting data, your chat data, all your transcripts being available as part of your Work IQ data, all securely managed and accessed. unified Copilot across chat, threads and channels, AI-powered communication in real time, think facilitator engaging in meetings, interpreter, voice agents in the future, facilitator taking a step forward, increasing capabilities across meetings and rooms. Express enrolment was a big theme of the show, streamlining and scaling Teams rooms rollouts, and the Pro Management Portal AI integration. There's a link for my full breakdown of the keynote as well. Some of the biggest news this month is changes in licensing, really positive changes in licensing. Essentially some capabilities that were previously premium, so Places capabilities and advanced webinar and town hall features are coming into Teams Core. Places moves to a model where user features are in the Teams Core license. And if you want Spaces or desks available to Places, you're paying for what was the shared device license is now a shared space license. And advanced town hall and webinar, up to 3,000 users in the box, and then you can pay for capacity add-ons. There's a lot more detail to that. I did a blog breakdown, which you can get on the link there. And also I talked to Brennan at ISE, and we drove through all the licensing changes and what it means for customers, so you can check that video out. A few Places roadmap items, map-based room booking is in development, and a profile card for buildings, rooms and desks to give additional data about those spaces, their capabilities, their location, etc. Feels like a really neat way to integrate the Places experience to Outlook and Teams. Express voice enrolment was one of the key points from ISE. This is the idea that if your admin allows it and you agree to it as well, you do have to step into both those agreements. Teams will listen to your speech in a meeting, and when it has enough content, it will say, I have enough to make a voice profile for you, is that okay? And it will make a voice profile. And that voice profile is for voice isolation and recognition in Teams room scenarios. A lot of people don't go through the settings to proactively enroll. So this is just nudging them that the feature's available, taking away the need to manually enroll and just saying, yes, I agree, but it does still require the user to agree. Another one from ISE, the Meet app in Teams is becoming the Events app, not just meetings, but also for webinar and town hall, bringing that whole experience together. That change will begin rolling out early Feb for preview and around April for GA. So maybe some user comms needed there to understand that change. More details in the message center. Teams live events are retiring and being replaced with Town Hall. We kind of knew this was coming, but now we have an official date. So they will retire on 30th of June 2026. Town Hall now has all the capabilities really to replace that scenario. The Graph APIs for scheduling broadcasts will be going too. There is a beta endpoint that will be going at the end of March. That's fair enough. But the 1.0 endpoint will be going June 30th, 2026. This was announced in a blog post. That is quite tight. It's supposed to be that anything in Graph 1.0, which is the GA of Graph, should get 24 months depreciation. So interesting to see how tight Microsoft have made that. Obviously, Microsoft have the data. They know who's using it. They probably know that maybe it's not getting that much use, and those customers are happy to move across to Town Hall. Still, interesting to see Microsoft break their standard SLA of 24 months before removing something from Microsoft Graph. That's a little bit worrying if you're a developer and you're relying on that capability and that agreement of depreciation before removing APIs. But generally, Town Hall has all the capabilities and more now. Customers seem happy that it is a valid replacement with new capabilities. There's some links in the slide to learn more about the transition and Town Hall. Interpreter, we know from meetings, is coming for one-to-one call scenarios and Teams Phone PSTN calling. Microsoft have increased the amount of included interpretation hours from 2 hours per user to 20 hours per user per month. We talked about this a few months ago. 2 hours seemed quite tight, and there was no ability to then go into a consumption model or to roll over. Check out that MC item for more details on the changes to the included interpretation hours. A big one that a lot of people have been waiting for, the Queues app is going to get shared history of calls and voicemail. This has been a long time coming, a big unlocking capability for the Queues app. Communities is coming into Teams in public preview, previously Yammer, Beaver Engage, now integrated into Microsoft Teams experience. Also, there's going to be an agent in communities to help draft responses and manage communities, which is going to be interesting. If you are a Viva Engage or Yammer user in particular, this is worth having a look at, or if you haven't used that because it's such a separate property, might be worth looking at it again. This is due in April 2026. A few more items on the roadmap. Audio recap is getting an additional 8 languages. This is audio summaries of your meetings. A big one for Teams Phone that's just hit the roadmap. So this is the ability to have multiple phone numbers assigned to the same user account and the same Teams IP phone as well. That is due April. Onto rooms and devices. Obviously a lot from ISE. I did a lot of video interviews there. The links are below, and also the whole deck and links are available over on Empowering Cloud. I spoke to Callum McDougall at Jabra. They've released a new modular Teams room system with Hudley cameras and a new speaker mic using Jabra audio technology. Great session with Crestron, who released new Teams Rooms Compute and One Beyond cameras and the new mic system. So a whole new ecosystem of devices. I talked to Albert at Microsoft and Natty at Audio Codes about their relationship, and a new phone, the C456 HD, is considered for education and government. So it's an M-Dep phone, and it has a interesting panic button for education scenarios that integrates tightly into Teams. And talked to Rich at Cisco about their new developments, the new Desk Pro, which is their new MDEP device, and some other new devices from them, and also Pratik over at Cisco on the Workplace Designer improvements. That tool is going from strength to strength. Shure formally announced their new MDEP bar with unique camera capabilities. It has cameras on the outside edge of the bar as well as the middle of the bar, giving some interesting framing capabilities. As I mentioned at the top, just before ISE, Logi announced their new Rally AI and Rally AI Pro cameras. Really nice cameras, quite a slim profile for mounting on the wall, but they can also be mounted in the wall. And think the Rally Board 65 camera, but mounted in a wall with a flush fabric cover. Nathan gave us a tour of all the different mounting options. I caught up with Graham at Neat. We talked about the new Neat Pad Pro and the Board 32, both MDEP devices. Nice to see those devices coming through. In terms of Teams Rooms news, we now have direct guest join between Google Meet and Teams Rooms on both sides of the fence. Initially Windows only, we'll see when the Android option drops. Microsoft have given formal dates for Android device management coming through from the Teams Admin Center to the Pro Management Portal. We knew this was coming, that all the device management is aiming to go through to the Pro Management Portal. That's where all the development is. This will be happening in public preview around April time, and will finally be happening around June time. So quite a lot of warning there, but be aware that's going to change some of your operational procedures and move all that room and device management over to the Pro Portal. Not necessarily a headline grabber, but a really big improvement. Passwordless resource accounts for Teams Rooms. Matt Slomka did a good session at ISE. This is moving from passwords on resource accounts, which can be a problem because some organizations want to cycle those passwords. Obviously, theoretically, someone could get hold of that password. Moving to true passwordless accounts, which use kind of a key-based exchange rather than a password. They automatically rotate. A much more secure capability to roll out Teams Rooms, and increasingly important as we have AI in the room as well. That will start public preview in March for Entra ID cloud accounts, April for on-prem accounts, and the target is June for general availability. A nice true up on the Microsoft Teams Rooms Android platform. Digital signage is rolling out in early March, similar to what we've had on Windows, AppSpace, Zygo, and specific custom URL. We are now fully into event season after ISE. There is a lot coming up. Looking forward to Teams Fireside Chat with Michelle, full ISE debriefing, his perspective, regular Microsoft Teams devices, Ask Us Anything, of course the Copilot Fireside Chats, and our new Microsoft 365 change community call as well. That covers all the big changes in the whole of Microsoft 365. Looking a bit further out for in-person, late Feb, we have the Microsoft UC User Group London. We have Andrew from BAE talking about his Teams experience. Great conversation, amazing scale, Teams Phone and Teams Rooms. We have a new in-person Copilot user group in London in March. And looking a bit further forward, we have a new format we're trying out this year, which is Insider Live Sessions. This is a live session on Teams where we have Microsoft product experts and experts from the community talking through a product, talking through roadmap, hopefully some customer guests as well. The first one will be Microsoft Places. We've got Brennan and Chris Fitzsimmons. Brennan is the strategy lead for Places. You no doubt will have seen him on the podcast before. There's a lot going on in Places this year with those new licensing changes, with desk booking, with a new shared space license. So looking forward to getting into that with some demos and some roadmap. And that is a live session, so you can absolutely come along and bring your questions and get engaged as well. That's it for this month. Hope the update was useful. Thanks to Neat for being the sponsor this month. If the update was useful for you, appreciate any comments or sharing of the update. Get that word out there, and look forward to seeing you at one of the events soon.